Hi, Radek. I'm super excited that we are here for our first podcast, Future Picks by Branchspace.
Hello, Ursula. Good to see you.
Good to see you. And what we want to talk about today is actually some of the latest trends and learnings related to loyalty and also ancillary revenue. And both of those topics, obviously, particularly in the current times, are getting even more important for airlines and other travel stakeholders. And I guess it's the changing customer behavior which makes it even more important. Do you have any figures about this?
Yeah, I do. It seems that during COVID, we could see that the customers can completely change their behavior, and especially when they choosing out the loyalty and what brands the lifestyle brands they choose. And we can see that during this pandemic, I would say 75% try to experience, I would say, new shopping behavior. So previously they stuck with particular choices, but it seems that COVID and lockdown enforced them to choose the different way of shopping. So 75% I would say tried a new shopping behavior. And what is interesting that 73 of those users intended to continue with the new behavior. So it means that they tried a new way how they're shopping and they stick to that also after that. We could also see that generally global consumer have new motivation beyond price and quality. Obviously, the quality and price, it's very important for them. It's 41% of them thinks that is important. But we could see other, let's say, leaders, they more care about the service and personal care. They also trust and reputation is getting more important for them. Easing and convenience and as well the health and safety. All of those new motivation are in between 10 and 20%. So they're getting, I would say, majority of as a balance doing quality and other new motivations that they do have.
I think the digital actually is a key part of the new customer behavior, that it's definitely not a choice anymore. It's kind of getting completely normal for them to do. And I always like to look a bit beyond the aviation and travel space and look at what retailers and other industries are doing. And if I take the example of Starbucks, they have already been very innovative in terms of co-creating with their customers. But during the pandemic, they actually focused even more on the whole digital, on the ease, on the contactless, that you could just get what you want in a seamless and speedy way. And others, like even McDonald's, has introduced in their stores like your self-service, contactless order system, and they are now even thinking about introducing a loyalty program. Amazon obviously did thrive because people were simply ordering even more online, and their subscription program, Amazon Prime, is probably one of the most successful in the whole world. And then if I look at Nike, also probably a brand which many consumers do use on a regular basis, they've become even more digital. Suddenly you could actually train and exercise together with famous athletes from home. And they also introduced kind of incentives for things that you cannot buy, like VIP experiences, and quite a unique setup of their flagship stores. So there is indeed seems to be a lot of change happening of what consumers expect.
Yeah, I think it's as well that consumers started to believe that the brands are there not only just to make profits for themselves, but as well to make people's life better. And these examples that you come up with are actually the leaders in this new trend. We can see as well in airlines that's also changing. They probably are not so advanced with transforming their businesses, but we could see as well that many of them, they focus on the ancillary services, and more and more it's getting more important, not just to generate a profit from them, but as well, I would say, bring the particular quality and particular benefits for the users. So those services are true value. And even we could see that even the legacy airlines, they achieved about 20% of the revenue from this source. Obviously, we have ancillary revenue champs. Recently, even Wizz Air during the pandemic achieved I think that about 55% of their revenue comes from ancillaries. So it means that they're generating more right now from the ancillary revenues, from ancillary services, more than actually from the selling, I would say, pure transportation. It means that it's getting, I would say, very important part of the airline life and revenue, which can be also accelerated through the adapted proposition to the customer preferences with dynamic personalized offer, allowing for speed and time savings, extra comfort, and many others. So so the focus as well is getting more on the customer needs, not necessarily just for generating the profit itself.
Also, of course, this pressure or this realization that also sustainability, it's a must, and it is urgent. I think it's quite interesting that Qantas, for example, they have introduced a green tier for their loyalty program, and it means that members have to complete at least 5 sustainable activities across 6 areas, and then they can qualify for the green tier. Etihad followed. So if it's done in an authentic and true way, it can make a difference to help. Of course, it still requires for the airline to be consistent and to make this part of the overall experience.
Yeah, obviously, there's I would say green initiatives are very important. It's as well. It's important that those green initiatives is not just to charge you, I would say, the customer for the transformation cost, because this is the most important thing. Obviously, we know that the sustainable fuel is more expensive right now than normal fossil fuel. So that means is that the programs that make customers participants in this change is not just charging them extra for being sustainable or being green.
Yeah, it's a very important point. And if I look at what is critical to do from the airline perspective, and also I guess the airport perspective and other travel stakeholders, it's to think more holistically, to not just think about the different silos that they've got, but really think along the whole customer journey, and even within their organization, rather don't just look at ancillaries, loyalty, sustainability separately, but ensure actually that it becomes a story, a joint story in itself. And this will help to get lots of differentiation points across the journey, to not just copy others, but really address customers, their customers in a unique way. So to get a bigger part of the pie, which still is smaller at the moment in terms of the travel pie. And it could even help to turn your, well, I would almost call it your frequent travelers rather into frequent buyers, even beyond the journey. You could actually build a very strong brand if you take that approach. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, successful loyalty and ancillary strategy are closely linked, and they are not, cannot be treated separately, as sometime it happened in the past, that they working in silos, that they don't know what they're doing. Actually, each of the, let's say, even airline departments. That's a required holistic commercial approach, because we have many elements of that, like a customer experience, leveraging data from CRM, distribution, revenue management, pricing, finance, strategy, partnership strategy as well. It has to work together, and it's not possible that we can treat them separately, because they will never work. I could see that the critical success for the airline ancillary sales and generally in loyalty strategy is, again, frictionless digital experience. We talked about as well as the main factor is the personalization of the services. But we also have a unique proposition based on the customer insight. So we have to hear what customer wanted to tell us about as well, and create the product and create the personalized services that will satisfy him or her.
And ultimately even become a kind of local hero, because you can create a whole ecosystem of products and services for your customers, which make you unique and strengthen your position in your market and the stickiness automatically in that way. It's quite an exciting perspective. But if I look at some immediate tips, like some quick wins that airlines, for example, could look at with their ancillary and loyalty strategy, do you see any specific areas where you would say this is a best practice and this could be something to just look at quite fast and improve conversion or improve your positioning?
Yeah, I think that there could be few elements that are pretty easy, I would say, to implement, and they probably at some point were forgotten to take into consideration with our sales and product improvement strategy. One of the things is that airline portal was probably forgotten at some point, and it's treated as just the informational, the source of the information for the user. They can check what is the size of the baggage, what is the allowance, but they don't forget that people searching for this information may immediately convert, and actually this could be a good gateway to the conversion funnel. There are many examples of how the portal could be effectively used as this, as I said, main gateway to the conversion, and improve this conversion pretty radically within relatively very low investment and rather not a long time for implementation.
Yeah, some great thoughts, and I'm sure there are more, but maybe it's we leave those for the next future picks, and wish our customers and all travel and aviation stakeholders a great start into the new year.
Yeah, we wish you a happy new year, and we hopefully the pandemic period will be forgotten soon, and we can start again flying high together with our customers, and hopefully next year will be better for the entire travel industry.
Yeah, absolutely. It will be. Okay, bye Radek.
Bye,
Bye
Ursula.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.